Hello everyone, hope you have a great day. Our goal today is to understand the requirements and find the logic to solve the puzzle and advent of Code 2023 Day 1. The link to this puzzle is included in the description below. There are two parts of every puzzle. For part 1, we need to find the sum of all of the calibration values. By definition, calibration value can be found by combining the first digit and the last digit to form a single two-digit number on each line of the input. There is a simple example with the input that contained 4 lines of text. On the first line, the first digit character is 1, and the last digit character is 2, so we have 12. Similarly, on the second and third lines, we get 38 and 15 respectively. On the last line, the first digit character is 7, and the last digit character also is 7. Notice that 7 is the only digit character in this line. Therefore, we have 77. At all these values we get 142. So now we understand the requirement. Let's try to find the logic to solve this first part. My suggestion is that we should be able to solve this simple example first before we jump to the real input file with a large number of text lines. We need to lay out the logic. We are using pseudocode, not in any specific programming language. Feel free to pick your favorite programming language after understanding the logic. Let's get started. Read the input line by line. For each input line, find first digit character. We can find the first digit character by checking each character from the beginning of the line. Notice the direction, from the beginning. Once we found the digit character, stop the current checking. We keep track the first digit character as a one-character string. Find the last digit character. We can find the last digit character by checking each character from the ending of the line. Notice the direction, from the ending. Once we found the digit character, stop the current checking. We keep track the last digit character as a one-character string. Combine those two characters to form a two-digit number. We can accomplish this by couple ways. Concatenate the last digit character to the first one. Then we convert the string to integer. Or, we can convert the first digit to an integer then multiply by 10. And convert the last digit to an integer. Then add those two integers to get the value for the line. Add the recently formed number to the total value. We need to increment the total value by adding the value of the current line. Print the total value. After adding the value of the last line in the input to the total value, we should have the total value equals 142 in this example. Now, let's look at the real input file, which I copied from the web browser. I believe the input file is unique for each user, and your input file might be slightly different from what I got. Therefore, the answer also slightly different. It has 1,000 lines. It is pretty straightforward with the logic we just figured out. Now, let's pause the video and start the interesting part, coding. Good luck and get back for part 2. Hi everyone, I assume that you completed part 1. It is pretty simple, isn't it? In part 2, the requirement has changed. We also need to check the digits that aren't spelled out with letters. In specific, digit 1 and letters ONE both represent number 1. Digit 2 and letters TWO both represent number 2. Digit 3 and letters THRE both represent number 3. And so on, until digit 9 only. Our program needs to detect those spelled out digits because they are considered valid digits in this part. Let's take a look at the simple input file here. In the first line, TWO should be detected as the first digit, digit 2. And NINE should be detected as the last digit, digit 9. Combine those two digits, we get 29. Notice on the second line, the first detected digit should be 8, as spelled out EIGHT, not 2, TWO. The value of this line should be 83. If your code returned 23, it might consider TWO digit 2 as the first digit. And it is not correct. Also, pay attention to the last line. Your code should detect the last digit as 6, not 16. Keep in mind that the digits spelled out only apply to digit 1 to 9. Once we got to this point, the remaining steps of calculating the total value will be similar to part 1. This is the pseudocode for part 2. It looks very similar, doesn't it? The only difference is the additional check for the spelled out digits. One possible approach is that, when we check a specific character, at first we should be able to identify whether it is a digit character. If yes, we keep track the numerical value of that character, and its index in the string. The index will help us during the looping from both directions, left to right, or right to left effectively. If no, we need to check further. Notice that none of the spelled out digits begins with character A, or B, or C, and so on. What does it mean? That means it is not necessary to have further check if the character is not the beginning letter of 1, 2, 3, and so on. We can skip those. What we just talked about is for checking from left to right. How about checking from right to left? Very similar, we pay attention to the ending character of the spelled out digits. For example, SIX, if the current character is X, we need to check the next two characters if they are I and S respectively. Overall, the following skills are needed in solving this puzzle. Read input file line by line. Loop through a string from left to right, and from right to left. Identify if a character is a digit character. Manipulate string. Track multiple variables during the process, including the index of the first and last digit, in both digit form and spelled out form, in each line. The value of the first and last digit, in both digit form and spelled out form, in each line. The total value. The beauty of learning problem solving is that there's always more than one ways to solve the problem. Be creative in your code. Hope you enjoyed this video. Feedback are welcome. Like, share, and subscribe. Until next session, lifelong learning.